The Ghost type is one of the strongest types in the Pokemon ROM hack Elite Redux, from its various overpowered Mega Evolutions to its brand new Redux forms. With every Pokemon having 4 active abilities at once, there are plenty of great Ghosts to choose from. The Ghost type even gets a new Weather type being Eerie Fog, buffing them up even more. Ghost types are known for being well-rounded, with them having the 5th highest average special attack and special defense, while having the 17th and 13th ranked HP and speed stat respectively. So I wanted to see if I could beat Elite Redux using only Ghost Pokemon. The only rules being the Pokemon must have the Ghost type to be on the team, and if it's a Mega Evolution that gains the Ghost type after Mega Evolving, then it must Mega on the first turn possible. With those rules in mind, let's get started. As always, the first step in any playthrough is picking the right frame. Then, setting the game to Elite difficulty, which will give us the hardest fights, and Elite level caps, which will limit the amount of moves and evolutions we get between each gym badge. We pick from 3 choices of Ghost starters, being Ghastly, Phantump, and Litwick. I decided to pick the Pokemon on the left, that way May will have Bladeskin throughout the entire run, and we can get the other starter choices later anyway. I gather up all the ghosts in the area like Duskull, Shuppet, and Sandygast. Duskull being the most important pickup as it can set up the new Fog Weather type for the rest of my ghosts. Fog reduces damage to ghosts by 20% and will give all non-ghost and psychic types a -1 to any stat that was increased. So if an enemy used a Dragon Dance, both the speed boost and the attack boost will be erased after the turn. Not to mention a bunch of Fog boosted abilities. Setting up the Fog will be key. The very first fight is against May, but with only 2 Pokemon, her team doesn't stand a chance. Now we can prepare for the first real fight of the game versus youngster Calvin. He has a full team of 6, which is a lot harder considering the NPCs have all their abilities unlocked, where my Pokemon's last 2 innates won't be unlocked until after the first and second gym badges. We'll need a good game plan. I thought we had a good one. It starts off well enough, taking out the lead Tinkaton and a Alolan Diglett. It starts falling off when Poochyena comes out and threatens my whole team with Stab Knockoff. I take it out, but not before it takes out a sizable chunk of the team. Seal, however, is one of the tankiest Pokemon alive, and none of these ghosts can get through. With Slack Off Recovery, we're just cooked. Time for a better game plan. We start off the exact same, but this time we're more prepared for the Pooch. Except, even with 100 special attack, Ghastly isn't strong enough to one-shot it with Hidden Power Fighting. At least it goes down with only 1 kill this time. But I had Toxic on Ghastly to deal with Seal, so now that plan was thrown out the window, and it looks real bad for us. I bring it down with some Shadow Claws, and start praying for crits and special defense drops with Sandygast. And somehow, it survives on 1 HP and gets the crit to take out the Seal. And it turns out the 2 Pokemon Calvin has left, Shedinja and Tandemaus, can't hit Ghost Pokemon, so we win on the spot.
That only took 58 minutes, so yeah, try and beat that one, guys.
After that insane fight, I just start winging it versus the other trainers on the route, as nothing will compare to Calvin for some time. The ghost types around here are pretty scarce, but we do pick up a Dreepy, which can be certainly helpful later. As we make our way to Rustboro and the first gym, we have the first double battle of the run. The Mono Grass team mostly relies on Sun and Tailwind to do damage, but with us setting up the Fog, they aren't too much trouble. Once I take out the big back Tangela, that fight is pretty much over. We make our way to the gym, and the trainers here always give me some trouble. I try to just brute force my way through, thinking the team was good enough to get past Roxanne's minions, but I was sorely mistaken. I missed one of the best ghosts for this gym back in Petalburg Woods, so I make my way back there to grab both Pumpkaboo and Phantump. 2 grass ghosts that will make life so much easier. The results are immediate, taking out all 3 of the trainers with little effort. Roxanne won't be easy though, right? She has some really strong early game Pokemon, including a super fast Dark type in Bombardier. I was too lazy to make a full game plan for her, so my entire plan boiled down to use Creeping Thorns turn 1. Creeping Thorns is basically just a grass type version of Stealth Rocks. Phantump actually does a lot more than that and ends up taking out the lead Onix because of a gem boosted Seed Bomb and the Haunted Spirit ability cursing it for taking it out. This obviously made Roxanne mad as the biggest threat to our team, Bombardier, comes out. With Unburdened Fling King's Rock, I might be cooked. However, it turns out Fling is its only Dark type move and can only be used once, so it's not as scary as it seems. With no flinches to Rock Slide, Shuppet beats it 1v1. Before going down, Shuppet also takes Macargo to the red, Pumpkaboo finishing it off. We see the effect of Creeping Thorns as Tortuga immediately goes down to half HP. That doesn't stop it from taking out Pumpkaboo though. Sinistea does the job, but faces a Whiscash, also extremely allergic to the thorns. I predict an Earthquake and switch to a Levitating Ghastly, who then takes it out with Hidden Power Grass. All that's left is the Minecraft pig. Ghastly's able to bring it down to the red before going down, and Sinisty finishes the fight. An intense fight for sure, but ends with us getting the first gym badge, unlocking our second innate ability and raising the level cap to 23. We get some notable new evolutions like Trevenant, Haunter, Gorgeist, and Dracoloak. After the first gym badge, the difficulty does ramp up a bit, and as is tradition now, the first bug trainer after Roxanne destroys me. But catching a Magikarp and evolving it into the brand new ghost form, Gyaradeath, makes things much easier. With the new Swirly Glasses item turning all physical moves into special attacks and vice versa, it's able to use strong moves like Flamethrower and Ominous Wind, which gets boosted by Moxie, making it easier to get to the first Aqua Grunt of the run in Rust Turf Cave. The fog is already set up there, so leading with a faster Dracoloak with Parental Bond gets us off to a good start. Other than the Muck refusing to switch out at -6 attack and the impressive speed of Masquerain, this fight doesn't slow us down. From here, we can quickly make our way to Dewford Town, where the Haunted Dewford Manor gives us Litwick and Oricorio. With the upcoming fight against Steven Stone and his steel types, I put my faith into Lampent. This was a mistake. Steven Stone is definitely one of the fights I fear the most in the beginning of any playthrough, as his team has some really dangerous threats like Metagross, Genesect, and the lead Credilli. Emphasis on that lead Credilli because my first attempt goes so badly. Credilli stalls out most of my fog and nothing can get through it. Once we do, Lampent fails to do the one thing I had it on the team for, which was beat Aerodactyl. An epic fail all around. So I try again this time with a different lead. Gorgeist does about the same to the Credilli as the previous lead, but does take it out. And Lampent actually takes out the Aerodactyl in one shot like it was meant to. The positives stop after that though. Lairon is just way too tanky for Trevenant to take out, and Genesect is just way too fast for the rest of the team. Once again, the champion of Hoenn takes us out. Third time will be the charm. No more trick or treat nonsense, as I just get straight to Energy Ball and take Credilli out. Lampent once again removes Aerodactyl. Relicanth can't handle Trevenant 1v1 and gets removed. This time I bring Lampent out in the fog, so it gets the speed boost because of its Ethereal Rush, and is able to take out Genesect as well. With a Stone Edge miss on the Lamp, it brings Lairon down to just enough for Gyaradeath to revenge kill and get the Moxie boost. It's not enough to take out Metagross though, so it's up to the little Shuppet to get the kill.
Alright, so it's either we kill on the one roll, or we crit, or we die. Come on, crit, Shuppet, come on. That's... okay, that's fine. Crit, come on. High roll or crit? I almost broke this chair, let's go.
An absolutely clutch high roll lets us skate by Steven Stone. Hopefully with a fighting gym up next, we'll get a bit of a break. None of the teams in there even threaten my team. Turns out it's pretty hard to hit ghosts with fighting moves. Brawly, however, does not care about this issue. He has an extremely fast ghost type Redux Noivern as his lead, with hyper aggressive, meaning its moves hit twice, so we can't even focus sash. After we take that out though, it should be free. So I lead with our Parental Bond Dracoloak and a Choice Scarf, which instantly takes care of the bat. Hatterene instantly counters it, setting up Trick Room as she enters the field. Setting up the fog for the team and stalling out the Trick Room is the best bet. The Lamp removes her with ease. Sudowoodo's new evolution Dual Lumber is a little scary since its punching moves hit twice, and it's really tanky. Trevenant forgot to put on his glasses before the fight, as he missed the Will-O-Wisp on the first try, which cost him the 1v1. We eventually take it out, but it costs Shuppet's life. Lamp is wearing his extra thick glasses though, as it hits a clutch Flamethrower on Redux Bisharp, even with its Bright Powder. It's still not looking good with Electivire and Hitmonchan still in the back. Dracoloak has to try and clutch a 1v1 versus Electivire for us to even have a chance, but it fails as Arc Flash burns it. It does lead to a trade, meaning we each have one Pokemon left. Gyaradeath versus Hitmonchan, and all we have to do is not get paralyzed to take it out with Psychic. We secure another gym badge, yet again on the first try. The level cap raises to 36 and we finally unlock the final innate ability for all of our Pokemon. The floodgates have opened and it's time to finally construct a proper team. So we have Hisuian Zoroark, as its speed is really decent at 110 and hits very hard with 125 special attack. Illusion can not only trick the AI, but gives it a 30% power boost if it's still up. That, plus a Life Orb, plus the Ambush ability making the first move always crit, means it's gonna obliterate Pokemon. Gyaradeath is still very good with Swirly Glasses and can now run Dragon Dance and Ominous Wind, giving us a potential sweeper. Gengar is a great glass cannon with amazing coverage. Choice Scarf allows it to be one of the fastest Pokemon around. Fog being up not only gives it a 50% increase to power because of Ectoplasm, so a free choice specs, but gives it an extra life since its shallow grave ability will revive it once per battle. Bramblegast is mostly here for coverage. Grass Ghost is not bad for us and can set up Tailwind if we need it. Dusclops will be our immovable object. Famous for being the greatest Eviolite Pokemon ever, its defenses are ridiculously high. Plus, the Stall ability gives it an additional 30% to its bulk. With the Soul Linker ability, it doesn't even need to move to take Pokemon out, as any damage they do to Dusclops, they do to themselves. And last, but certainly not least, we have Jellicent, our Fog Setter. With the Smoke Ball item, our team will have Fog for 12 turns when it enters the field. It's decently bulky, and Water Bubble boosted Scald can actually do some serious damage. With the spookiest team ever assembled, we can test them out in the museum. Here we face Team Aqua in a 1v3 where we can't heal between the battles. Getting off to a good start is key. Gloom stands no chance against our Zoroark illusion as it goes down to an Ice Beam. Low Kicks and its extremely powerful first move doesn't even do 30% to Dusclops. Axe Kick does much more though, and eventually it takes itself out. The second fight is more of the same. Poliwrath goes down instantly, and Jellicent is able to wash away the sludge monster Swalot. Archie is last, and he has a full team of 6. Crobat is faster than my lead Zoroark, so I immediately switch to Jelly, so Fog is up for us. With Acid Armor, it's way too tanky and forces him to switch to Delmise. We finally get the burn with Scald, but instantly get crit. Still a perfect opportunity to start setting up with Gyarados. Ominous Wind begins tearing up his team. Focus Sash Sharpedo stops the sweep, but isn't faster than Gengar. Bramblegast is able to take out Electros, and it's pretty much GG's from there. I can already tell this team is solid. Our rival May quickly finds us out as well. Her Golurk is a menace though. Once we deal with the tanky Goodra, there's not a whole lot she can do. The other rival of this game, Wally, is next, as he stands in our path for the third gym. He leads with an Obstagoon, which is kinda scary since it has Sucker Punch and threatens my whole team. Jelly is able to just bulk up while it tries and ends up just switching his Pokemon out a bunch of times. Eventually stopping on a Roserade who gets 3 crits in 9 hits with Bullet Seed. And yes, this did almost cause me to crash out, thanks for asking. Dusclops does his job though, even setting up Fog for its teammate Gengar, who takes out 2 on its own before being revived. Unfortunately, it didn't matter as the Obstagoon is back and ends me. Just an unlucky fight. Without the crits though, we're able to beat his team the second time without any trouble. Gyarados basically just sweeps. We can now start to make our way through the minions of the gym. Electric types are mostly neutral against this team, so none of them really threaten us, except for the double battle fight in the back. Honestly, didn't build this team with doubles in mind, so it came back to bite me. Losses teach us valuable lessons though, like always bring Protect to a double battle. With that golden rule in mind, we end up actually destroying this fight. All that's left is Watson and his electrifying team. We'll need to face not only a blazing fast Tapu Koko, but a super tanky Iron Hands as well. Not to mention facing the first ever Mega Evolution in Mega Rapidash. Thankfully he leads with Tapu Koko as it can easily be taken out with Gengar with a Sludge Bomb. Alolan Raichu comes out, which is faster than my entire team thanks to Surge Surfer. After a pivot to Dusclops, who sets up Fog for us, Gengar is able to come back and take it out. With the Ectoplasm boost from the Fog, it's able to also one-shot Mega Rapidash as well. With the free revive still in Gengar's pocket, it's able to take Redux Exploud down to the red. Gyarados is able to come in and start spamming Ominous Wind until we get the Omni boost, and that's all she wrote. The double battle was honestly much harder to be honest. But we can now level up our Pokemon to level 45 and unlock even more ghost types. I make one massive change to the team, swapping out Bramblegast, who wasn't really holding its own, for one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, Aegislash. With Shadow Shield pretty much guaranteeing it lives 1 turn, as well as a great defensive secondary typing in Steel, it's one of the best ghost types in the entire game. The results are almost immediate. Swords Dance, King Shield, and Shadow Sneak are just too good. We're even able to beat the double battle with Kecleon on the first try, which is one of the harder fights in this stretch of the game. Further up the route, the Ace Trainer Wilton and his full team of 6 is one you can't take lightly. He has a solid team including a lead Aegislash of its own. However, ours is just built different, taking out a large majority of his team on its own. It's just too easy. Clearly, Aegislash was the missing piece this team needed because we didn't come close to losing any of the upcoming fights. We finally have our first run-in with Team Magma in Meteor Falls, leading to a mixed battle with May. I leave Aegislash behind since he's highly allergic to fire, and I bring in Jelly to block out the sun with fog, pretty much shutting down both of their teams. Our Gengar and her Mimikyu in the fog are a really good combo and gets us the victory. The showdown with Team Magma is only getting started though. They've started a war on Mount Chimney, so we need to stop them there too. Taking out these ground type trainers is much easier now than it was in the mono electric run, let me tell you. Jelly has a field day with Fog and Scold. Admin Tabitha and his Mega Steelix don't even slow us down, and it brings us right to the very first Maxi fight of the run. With him having 2 different Mega Evolutions and a Dark type pseudo legendary, we can't take him lightly. We lead Gengar, hoping to just get a quick kill in the Niaganadel, but it ends up needing a high damage roll, which it gets. Gengar is just built different. Not built different enough to beat a Hydreigon though, so we have to switch. Dusclops is just tanky enough to survive the initial Dark Pulse, activating Soul Linker, bringing Hydreigon down to at least red, allowing Gengar to come back and revenge kill. It doesn't want to take a crunch from Lycanroc, so once again I have to switch and sack Jelly, but we set up Fog. Lycanroc misses though, and a Scald plus a lucky Poison Touch effect lets Jelly win the 1v1. Aegislash forces Crobat to run away, but doesn't have as much luck against the Mega Camerupt. Jelly easily takes care of it and removes the sun, making the rest of this team easy to take out. Mega Venusaur just can't survive the rest of the onslaught, and we win. With Team Magma extinguished for now, we can head to Flannery's gym. Well, after taking 20 minutes to sneak past this camper girl whose life goal was to fight me. The 4th gym has a ton of trainers with full teams of 6, so we slowly make our way through. Luckily, a lot of the teams here rely on weather, and with a weather team of our own, it's pretty easy for us. Also, Fog is just up by default in here, so it's very easy for ghosts. Flannery can be a really scary gym leader to fight. Her lead, Walking Wake, sets up the sun and has multi-scale and 4 powerful moves. Entei and Redux Arcanine have deadly priority moves, and Entei's fire moves hit twice. And with 2 Megas, it's certainly going to be a heated battle. So I decide to drop Aegislash since there's really not much he can do here anyway. Instead, I trade him in for the new Lycanroc's Eclipse form. The Rock Ghost type is here to do one thing: set up Stealth Rocks. I'd argue nothing else makes this fight any easier than just using that one move. It's also able to get a hit on Walking Wake, breaking its multi-scale. Jelly can then come in and remove the sun. Draining Kiss allows it to win versus Walking Wake. Entei comes in, and thanks to the Stealth Rocks, it will not have priority on its devastating fire moves. With Jelly barely able to survive the Sappy Seed, it takes out the Entei with a Scald. The other extreme speed Pokemon comes out, and we need to save Jelly for the sun that comes back up later. So out comes Dusclops, who's able to wall it out and take out the Doggo. Cerulean shows up and immediately has its Focus Sash broken by the Stealth Rocks. A double crit takes Dusclops out though. Gengar is able to get the revenge kill. With Mega Charizard Y out now, we have the last Pokemon that can set up the sun. I should have switched out Gengar because it wasn't as strong anymore, and it actually goes down since the fog wasn't up. It doesn't matter too much though, as Jelly is not only able to erase the sun, but live the Air Slash and kill it with a Scald. Mega Wigglytuff is the last Pokemon, but absolutely doesn't go down without a fight. Jelly ends up losing the speed tie, so it goes down to a Draining Kiss. Then our Gyarados doesn't get the high roll or an Omni boost from Ominous Wind, while Wiggly not only hits an 85% accurate Energy Wave, but gets the highest roll possible. It comes down to the final 1v1. With our last Pokemon being Zoroark though, Wiggly has no chance, and we win the 4th gym badge, bringing the level cap to 50. Right away we can make our way to the next gym in Petalburg, where inside, before we face any of the trainers, we receive the Mega Bracelet and most of the Mega Stones from our dad. However, the Mega Stone we need is in the Adoption Center, as we'll be using one of the best Megas in the game, Mega Gyarados X. This Mega not only has amazing stats with very few wasted on its special attack, it also has the Fire Scales ability, making it special defense top tier. The main reason it's so good though is its signature ability, which is absolutely busted. Funeral Pyre will cause all non-ghost and dark type Pokemon to lose 25% of their health after each turn it's on the field. It's just so good, and it literally just starts running through teams. The normal type gym has no answers for us as we breeze through all of the trainers. Time to face our dad, who has probably the worst team of any single battle gym leader in the game. And the fact we have all ghosts makes him even worse, and X-Cloud can't even hit a single member of our team since it only has Boom Burst. Aegislash is back on the team and is a great lead versus Dad's Kangaskhan. But a crit on the very first hit puts us in a tough spot. A Sacred Sword is still enough to get the kill though. Mega Bayonet comes out next and it really scares me because it has Spectral Thief, which you can use to steal Aegislash's Swords Dance. Luckily in this game it doesn't hit through Protect, so it ends up sitting at -1 attack and I switch into Dusclops. Putting a curse on it after Cursed Body disables Spectral Thief means we can start setting up with our new Mega Evolution. A single Dragon Dance is pretty much all we need. After Bayonet goes down, Warden stands no chance against a boosted up Stab Pyro Ball. Persian is only good with Fury Swipes, which it can't do here, so it goes down too. Even Mega Ursaluna is useless, as its ground type moves can't hit the levitating Mega Gyarados. Honestly, one of the easiest gym fights I've ever had.
You really left Mom at home all by herself for this.
Now we get Surf and raise the level cap to 55. The war flashbacks hit me pretty hard right after though, because we run into an old friend. The man who made me cry earlier in the run, Mr. Steven Stone. My team is so much better now though. I lead with Mega Gyarados and Protect to break Kleavor's Sash and destroy it with Pyro Ball. Mega Aggron kinda walls us, so we go into Aegislash to try and win the 1v1. Running away scared, it ends up getting Dracovish destroyed on switch in. That's the world champ difference right there. Right after, he sends out Magearna to Steel Beam into a Protect, losing half its health. How does he do it? Cut takes it out right after. Iron Valiant finally forces us to switch, but Dusclops walls it out. Ace Metagross isn't as scary as it once was and gets one shot by Jelly. Aggron finally comes back out, but stands no chance. That fight wasn't even slightly hard. I'm telling you, this team is peak. Nothing stands in our way and we instantly make it to the Weather Institute, where Team Aqua is trying to take over. For the most part, they don't do much to our team. Until we get to Admin Shelly, who hands us the first loss in quite some time. Her team isn't that crazy, but her water types counter our Mega pretty hard. Not to mention she has a Mega Redux Infernape, which is one of the best Pokemon in the entire game. Starting with a better lead Pokemon against her Suicune helps out a ton. Mega Redux Infernape comes out a lot sooner, so we have more options to deal with it. After that, her team just can't compete with our power. Already looking ahead to the 6th gym, I forget we have to deal with our final fight with our rival May. Mega Redux Torterra does make things a little interesting, taking out 2 of our Pokemon, but her team really isn't that good overall. Mega Gyarados practically sweeps the rest of her team. Time to take on the 6th gym, the first double battle gym of the run. The gym has quite a few battles to get through though, including some double battles, so it should take about an hour. But what if we just skip all that BS? So chat convinces me to just fight Winona right away. Doing this will give her some insane buffs. But why? Well, in this game, you can challenge the gym leader of each gym right as you walk in, but each of the trainers in a given gym control a buff that the gym leader gets, like half of your party being burned at the start, or Stealth Rocks being instantly set up on turn 1. Defeating a trainer disables the buff, so fighting Winona right away will make this a much harder fight. Her team isn't too scary though, so maybe it won't be too bad. As we start the battle, the buffs already start to make my life hell. Winona's Fearow and Velozel both have their defenses raised by 80%. Both of my Pokemon are unable to use items for 4 turns, and the rest of the party gets Frostbite, which cuts their special attack power in half. Already an uphill battle. Dusclops gets double teamed on turn 1 and goes down instantly to a Sky Attack, but Jelly is at least able to get some damage off with Scald. I bring out Gyarados since its Funeral Pyre ability makes it great for doubles. A Protect plus a Scald wins us the turn and we take out Fearow with minimal damage. With Galarian Zapdos out on the field, I bring out Aegislash, who eats both hits without losing any health, letting Gyarados set up with Dragon Dance. It's here where I learned that Funeral Pyre does not work properly as only one Pokemon takes the effect. After a double Protect, we win a speed tie with the Zapdos, taking it out with a Pyro Ball, while Velozel is chopped down with a Cut. Mega Aerodactyl comes out next though, which is a big problem for our Fire Ghost Gyarados. However, the Dragon Dance allows us to outspeed it and remove it with Poltergeist, as Moltres does nothing to the protecting Aegislash. Using nothing but pure skill, we're able to make Aegislash dodge a Heat Wave and destroy Tornadus, pretty much guaranteeing our victory. First try and we beat Winona despite the buffs to our team. With the 6th badge, we unlock even more moves and head into one of the longest stretches between badges. Arriving at Mount Pyre, we're able to pick up some new ghosts like Spiritomb and Houndstone. Just to switch things up a bit, I replaced Zoroark with Redux Garchomp. Dusclops gets a major upgrade as Rest gives it recovery it can use to damage even more Pokemon. Our new member of the team immediately lets us down against the crew team though. Team Aqua is causing trouble at the top of Mount Pyre, but is no trouble for our team as Fog is permanently up. After quickly getting through them, we head to the Team Magma hideout next. This is quite a long dungeon full of tough teams. A lot of them are weather based though, so using Fog really helps us get through quickly. Even the double battle versus both the admins, which is usually pretty challenging as they have 2 Megas, is beaten swiftly. So we begin preparing for the last fight of the hideout against Team Magma's leader Maxie. He's bringing the big guns for this one, having not only Primal Groudon that can basically one-shot any Pokemon with V-Create, but 2 Megas as well. This won't be as easy as the rest of the dungeon. We lead with Redux Garchomp as its hyper-aggressive ability lets moves hit twice and allows us to one-shot the Focus Sash Niaganadel. He then sends out his Mega Venusaur, but with the sun not up yet, Garchomp has no reason to fear a Solar Beam and gets the knockout here as well. Primal Groudon coming out means a devastating V-Create is on the way, and that's kinda what I wanted. Garchomp did its job, and with its defenses being lowered, Gengar is able to revenge kill. Finally, we can get the Fog up for the team with Jelly, and we bring back a much stronger Gengar. However, I forget that Camera Up sets up Drought, so we basically lose Gengar for the fight. Setting up with Gyarados though is absolutely free. His final Pokemon, Walking Wake, stands no chance against our powered up Mega, and we send Maxie packing. Even though we just dealt with them, we have to once again stop Team Aqua in their hideout. Everything is going swimmingly until we get to the double battle, which for some reason was one of the hardest fights in the entire run so far. They lead with the 2 Pikachu clones, Plusle and Minun, who just destroy my team. Like, with ease. When I'm finally able to take them out, Drizzle Politoed with Mega Golisopod just end me on the spot. I thought, well, I just got off to a bad start. This isn't that bad. But no. The second attempt is even worse. After a critical hit Spark that not only paralyzes me, but gets Parahacks on the same turn, I reset before even finishing. Third time needs to be the charm. Words cannot describe how much I hate this mouse duo. This is supposed to be a water-based gang, so who invited you? Like, seriously. Third time luckily was the charm, and we take out our frustration on Matt. That wouldn't be the last infuriating double battle as we make our way to Tate Liza's gym, where all trainers are paired up, so we have 6 tough double battles to get through. The first one goes well, no issues. The second one is an absolute nightmare. Just like ours, it's a Fog team, but is completely built for doubles and gets 2 different Megas. Also having an Iron Leaves, who with Booster Energy is one of the fastest Pokemon I've ever seen in my life. What's really insane is its momentum ability makes its contact moves use that extremely high speed stat for damage, and its Blade Master ability lets its slashing moves hit both of my Pokemon at once. I got obliterated. Twice. I lost a lot of sleep because of this one. So we needed to make a change to match these speeds. I make one big change by bringing in a new Mega. Mega Redux Garchomp has a base speed of 150, so it was more than enough to get kills. 3 of their Pokemon go down in 2 turns. Eventually, the God tier Iron Leaves comes out and immediately takes out my Mega and my super tanky Dusclops in 1 turn. It's actually insane. Luckily, using Cut, plus it being cursed, plus it getting the bleed effect is enough to take it out. Thankfully, all the other trainers in here are easier to deal with compared to that. But the worst double battle is still ahead of us. The gym leaders, Tate and Liza, have quite a unique fight. Not only do we have to face them with permanent Trick Room on the field, making their extremely slow team even better, but the fight is also an inverse battle, meaning the type chart is completely flipped. So while normally having an all ghost team is beneficial against a team of psychic types, we now have a severe disadvantage. The biggest problem is getting through their lead Pokemon, which have 4 attacking moves with perfect coverage and basically can't be one-shot. They destroy most leads we can have. Eventually, we do come up with a plan. We lead with Miss Drevis and Miss Magius, as they both can do the classic Prankster Destiny Bond combo. Putting no EVs on them ensures that both can be taken out, which also takes out their Pokemon. It was the only thing we could do, but now it's a 4v4. Next, we bring out Sigilyph, who's a Ghost Psychic type in this game, and Spiritomb, both holding an Iron Ball so they can be as slow as possible. They send out Calyrex Ice Rider and Mega Slowking. Spiritomb is the slowest on the field, but Mega Slowking is right behind him, so with a 90% accurate hypnosis, thanks to its Hypnotist ability, we put it to sleep. guaranteeing our Sigilyph, who is the third slowest, can hit a stab 120 base power Dream Eater, which actually gets its base power doubled to 240 because of its Dreamcatcher ability. With it being super effective, Slowking has no chance. Sigilyph immediately goes down after though. So we send out the second slowest ghost type in the game and the slowest Pokemon in this fight, Redux Spiritomb. This is pretty much the only ghost type that can use Expanding Force, so we throw on a Psychic Gem for more power. However, Calyrex Unnerve ability makes it useless, so it doesn't do as much damage as I hoped. We do manage to put it to sleep though, as Slowbro hits us with Expanding Force. Sleep Claws prevents us from putting more than one Pokemon to sleep, so we hit it with another Expanding Force and a Psychic, which ends up being enough to take them both out. With nothing but an Oranguru, who's really just there as a support Pokemon, we take it out with ease. Basically a flawless victory against one of the hardest fights to prepare for in the entire run. 7 badges down, 1 to go. Before we take on the final badge, we need to stop Team Magma one final time. Just like in their hideout though, they aren't very tough. There's even a 1v3 battle that we beat on the very first try. After Admin Tabitha is dealt with, we have to face Maxie and Courtney with Mr. Steven Stone in a mixed battle. I really just rely on Steven to win this for us. Soul Linker Dusclops is able to do great damage against Groudon since it just barely lives a V-Create. But then Steven decides to no-go on a kill and just bullet punches instead, getting us both killed by a Heat Wave. However, he redeems himself as his Iron Voca and our Zoroark are able to clear the rest of the battle. Team Magma is no more. The last evil team is under the ocean and will be punished. The admin Shelly, who gave us trouble before, is no match for the power of our team now. All that's left is Archie, who's planning on waking up the ancient Kyogre. A Kyogre he uses on his team, which is quite scary. He has a ton of speed on his team and is really powerful, especially in the rain. Getting Fog up and keeping it up is quite a challenge, as Primal Kyogre has to be dealt with first, and I end up doing a terrible job at this. Kyogre was also extremely bulky and just bullied my special attackers. It really wasn't even close. Instantly I knew we'd have to change this team around, or else it just wasn't happening. So we decided to bench Mega Gyarados for Dragapult since it's a nice physical attacker, and we put a Choice Scarf on Zoroark so it can get its turn 1 crit against more of his team. Right away this works, as it outspeeds the lead Raikou before it can even do anything. It's also able to bring Kyogre down to half and live a sheer cold, which it went for because it believed we were a Dragapult. Switching to Dusclops, we remove the ancient beast. Mega Redux Garchomp, who actually gets faster with each kill, misses its move and misses out on that boost because we take ourselves out with Curse. A Shadow Sneak from Aegislash takes it out. Mega Sharpedo doesn't let him escape though. Dragapult is fast enough for the revenge kill. With just a Wo-Shen and an Iron Moth left, we beat Archie. Didn't even bring a Mega Evolution to that fight. All that's left to do is take on the final gym. Most of the gym trainers in here are a 1v3 fight, or a 1v1 than a double battle. The latter ends up being much easier for our team, and we make it to the gym leaders in no time. This final gym is possibly the hardest fight in Elite Redux. Once again, it's a double battle gym, however it's actually a 6v12. Wallace and Juan have a B team with Pokemon like Mega Urshifu, Manaphy, and Mega Kingdra, who are very dangerous in the rain. First you have to get through all of that, then you're immediately thrown into a fight versus their A team. No healing in between. This team is much stronger with Pokemon like Volcanion, Primal Kyogre, and Mega Swampert. A special team and game plan has to be in place. Luckily, we have a secret weapon. So turn 1, we lead with a new Gengar and Noctowl's new ghost evolution, Fantowl. Since it's slower than Politoed, we're able to overwrite the rain and replace it with Fog. After Mega evolving to a Gengar who has +1 priority to ghost moves at full health, we go for a double Ominous Wind. Remember that in Fog, Ominous Wind has its power doubled to 120 base power, easily taking out both of them in one turn. The next Pokemon, Mega Kingdra and Kyossi, won't be as easy. Fantowl is too slow and Gengar won't be strong enough, so this time we go for a Helping Hand boosted Ominous Wind, and it somehow is enough to cut through Multiscale. Once again, taking out 2 Pokemon in a single turn. More complications arise with the final pairing. Manaphy erases the fog with rain and powers up her partner, Swift Swim Mega Urshifu. The speed really isn't a problem, but Prio Jet Punch is a huge threat. So to deal with both of these issues in a single turn, we'll need to do a double switch. I swap Gengar for Rotom Fan, who's the only ghost in the entire game with Air Blower, setting Tailwind on entry. And I swap in our secret weapon, Shedinja, for Fantal, as only Manaphy's Hurricane can hurt it. Rotom goes down, which is actually good because Gengar can come back in for free. All we have to do now is bring back Fantal, whose Fog negates their Swift Swim and powers up Ominous Wind. With Tailwind to our back now, our priority goes before the Jet Punch, and both of them fall to a single shot. We survive part 1 with only one casualty. The second fight does have a lot of strong Pokemon though. The lead is already too much for us. Ominous Wind doesn't do enough and Gengar goes down. Snarl at least finishes off the Mega Redux Garchomp and lowers the power of Kyogre. I bring in Shedinja to possibly set up. Volcanion comes out and is one of only 2 Pokemon in this fight that can actually hurt Shedinja. However, Boiling Flame won't activate because fire moves fail with Primal Kyogre on the field. So Shed is free to Swords Dance with no drawback. Shadow Sneak takes out Volcanion, which was perfect timing as they switched out Kyogre on that turn. The only Pokemon left that can hurt Shed is Kilowattrel with Hurricane. It's Focus Sashed, but so are we, and with no confusion on Shed, Kilowattrel goes down. At this point, it doesn't even matter what they have left, they can't touch us. The secret weapon worked.
You wanna know the crazy part? The crazy part was I didn't even think about using Shedinja, but yesterday when I was at work, I literally seen a cicada shell on a tree. And I was like, dude, Shedinja might actually be the perfect Pokemon for this gym.
And it was the perfect Pokemon. Now we only have Victory Road and the Elite Four left in our path. Victory Road is no walk in the park though, as there are a ton of trainers you need to get through, including some tough double battles. The very first test though is Wally, who has a decent team, but nothing we can't handle, even though Dusclops falls to his Mega Latios. But his Urshifu isn't enough to stop us. A miss input costs us 1 battle, but we bounce right back. The ground type expert with his Sand team gets swept by 1 Aegislash somehow. Excadrill was just so afraid of the Ghost Sword.
Homie, your entire team is getting murdered. It's time to switch up the strategy. Stop switching, bro. You're getting your whole team killed. Oh my god.
After this, our winning streak continues against trainer after trainer. Eventually, a Misty Terrain team put a pretty good beating on us, so I take the opportunity to switch the team up a bit. Mega Redux Houndoom is one of the best Ghost Megas in the game, and one of my favorites, so I really wanted to use it one time before this run was over. See, it has the Contrary ability, which reverses all stat changes, and the move Raging Souls, which usually drops special attack by 2. So we pair it with an eject button Rotom Fan, that way we can use Tailwind to sweep teams. And it works like a charm. Redux Houndoom just starts tearing teams apart left and right. If you never used one before, I highly recommend it. We then find one of the best Ghost Paradox forms, Fluttermane, but before we can leave Victory Road, we have to defeat an old friend, Calvin from the first route in the game. It took us an hour to beat him the first time, and his team is much better now, mostly because of its lead Pokemon, Kecleon. It's an unattainable Pokemon with the most broken ability in the entire game, which basically reduces all damage by 30%, gives it a ton of immunities and resistances, while having Protean. Normally the best strategy though is just a skill swap, but Dusclops is actually built different. Soul Linker plus Curse plus Rest is enough to solo this beast with ease, cementing his legacy as the GOAT of the run. The rest of Calvin's team is just not scary and we flatten the rest. We arrive at the Pokemon League and have only 5 battles that stand in our way, so let's prepare the final team. We add the newest member to the team and one of the best Paradox forms in the game, Fluttermane. With its hyper-aggressive ability letting all moves hit twice, it hits really hard and takes out sashed Pokemon. Booster energy makes it incredibly fast and lets us win a lot of 1v1s. If it does manage to go down, it sets a curse so we can take out Pokemon even after it's gone. The rest of the team is very familiar as it's what we've been rocking with. Dusclops, Aegislash, Gengar, Jellicent, and Mega Gyarados. With the Dream Team assembled, it's time for the first fight against Sydney. A full Dark-type team which is very problematic for our ghosts. Lots of Sucker Punch, speed, and power. Luckily the Dark-type trainer is first, otherwise we could be in some real trouble. He leads with his Redux Alakazam and we lead with our new Fluttermane. It Mega Evolves right away, but before it can even blink, a Moonblast takes it out in one shot. King Gambit comes out and immediately puts me on edge, as this was a problem Pokemon for us before. Dusclops is the only one that can survive a hit from it. After getting a rest off against it successfully, Soul Linker is able to take it out. Chi-Yu is too strong though. I'll have to drown this fish with jelly while also setting up fog for us. The greed of Chi-Yu's life orb is enough to just barely get us the kill. One of his fastest Pokemon, Darkrai, threatens to make it nap time for the squad. Fluttermane, even without booster energy, is enough to outspeed and break through its Focus Sash. She wasn't done there though. Mega Redux Mawile is next and is actually really scary because of Sucker Punch, but chooses not to go for it and suffers the same fate. His last Pokemon, Yveltal, is really tough to deal with since it has Air Blower and great defenses. Aegislash clutches up big time though, not only pulling off a double protect, which was enough to stall out the Tailwind, but got just enough health back from leftovers to survive on 1 HP and get some good damage off, putting it in the range of an Ice Beam, giving us the victory. 1 down, 4 to go. The next trainer, Phoebe, decided to steal my whole flow and is on a little mono ghost journey of her own. Except she has a lot of ghosts I could only dream of having. Origin Form Giratina is not only a fog setter, but has great power and Shadow Shield. Marshadow destroys most of my team just by entering the field since it uses Spectral Thief on entry, and a very bulky Necrozma Dawnwings. The good thing is she's weak to us, and her setting up fog for us means we get a free chance to lead Gengar. Shadow Ball is able to do over 50%, and with Shallow Grave, Gengar is still alive for later. At this range, Fluttermane is able to come in and finish it off with Requiem. She then sends out Mega Redux Houndoom. We know how dangerous it can be, but luckily with booster energy, Fluttermane is faster and removes it before it could be a problem. She sends out another Mega, once again copying me, as it's a Mega Gyarados X. Unfortunately, Requiem low rolls on the damage and it just barely survives. Fluttermane stands no chance. A quick Shadow Sneak is enough from Aegislash. Aegislash is also bulky enough to survive a Moongeist Beam from Necrozma. However, it's not strong enough to get the KO using Shadow Sneak, so he's cooked. Fog Ending hurts Gengar's power output, but is still able to get the revenge kill. She responds by sending out one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, Pheromosa. Axe Kick will pretty much take out my entire team if we're not careful, so we sack Gengar to get the Dusclops wall in safely. Axe Kick, followed by a Will-O-Wisp, guarantees Dusclops gets the win. Last is the Marshadow. With Wicked Blow always critting, we're in real danger here. Dusclops is able to do solid damage before going down thanks to Soul Linker. Jelly comes out and with the fog is able to just barely survive and KO with a Scald. The Mustache clutches up big time. 2 down, 3 to go. Glacia is next, and she's an Elite Four member that strikes a lot of fear in me. Her lead, Mega Lapras, is basically unkillable and can really wall out a ton of teams. Same with her Mega Dugong. She also has a lot of power with Pokemon like Kyurem White and Xian Pao. So a plan to make sure we get off to a good start is key. Glacia likes to use Hail to help her team, so we make sure to eliminate that, leading with Jelly setting up Fog. Jelly can't do anything though in the way of damage, and we'll need Fog up again later. Since it's slower than the base form, but faster than the Mega, it wins the Weather War and can move first. Attract lowers Lapras' damage output, so Jelly doesn't take too much damage, letting his eject button activate. We can now get Gyarados in the fight clean and Mega Evolve. Funeral Pyre cuts right through the bulk, and we're bulky enough to begin setting up. Soul Eater giving us HP on the KO removes most of the damage she does to us anyway. Xian Pao comes out next and kinda walls us. Funeral Pyre won't work on dark types, so the Focus Sash will allow it to take us out. Dusclops can at least bring it down to the red before going down. Aegislash is there for cleanup with Shadow Sneak, baiting out Kyurem White, who's the last Snow Warning Pokemon. So we go to Jelly to erase the hail. Unfortunately, he's not able to do anything else. With Fog up, Gengar is still safe with an extra life, so it's able to come in and get the one-shot. Articuno will take it out, but not before getting a nice hit in. Once again, it's time to set up with Mega Gyarados. Going for the Dragon Dance was a little too risky, as not getting the kill on Articuno means no Soul Eater for us. Mega Dugong is a pure wall, but a crit on Pyro Ball is able to take it out in a single turn. Aegislash is able to one-shot the Mega Redux Beedrill, giving us the win. 3 down, 2 to go. The Dragon expert Drake is the last Elite Four member and just has a crazy powerful team. Origin Dialga is one of the strongest leads ever. One-shotting it is basically impossible, and you can't set up on it as Roar of Time will switch you out. The rest of the team is just pure power, and every one of them can take over the game. To get off to a good start, we gotta go outside the box. So I remove all of Jellicent's special bulk and change its ability so it no longer sets fog. Putting it as the lead, we know Dialga is going to give us a free turn using Stealth Rocks, so we go for a Curse. Now because it has Impenetrable, it won't do any damage, but will put our health at half, putting us in the range of a Roar of Time KO, but because it has negative priority, we can use Destiny Bond first as it takes us both out. With mostly physical attackers left, we go with Aegislash as Drake responds with Rayquaza, who sets up Tailwind on entry. He sent this out because of V-Create. After a King Shield lowers its attack by 1, Aegislash is able to live on just 8 HP and one-shots it with a cut. A massive 1v1 victory. Koraidon is next, and Aegislash just gets some quick chip damage in before going down. Fluttermane is the last thing he wants to see, as Moonblast takes it out with a high roll. Next is the Steel Dragon Megahaxorus. Fluttermane ends up getting a really low roll with Moonblast, as it's not able to only live, but survive damage from Curse. We have to go with Mega Gyarados and protect turn 1 to take it out. However, this puts us in a bad spot versus Kyurem Black, and protecting against it turn 1 would have broken its multiscale. With it having extreme speed, we can't survive more than one turn against it. So after bringing it down to red, we have to hit a double protect.
50-50 shot. It's a 50-50 chance this thing dies. We protect. 50-50. No! 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 Come on. That's such a feels bad.
Dusclops can stop it though. It for some reason goes for Freeze Shock, giving us a free turn to set up Fog before taking itself out. Baragong just straight up loses to Dusclops as it can't do enough damage before we heal up with Rest. The MVP of the run continues to shine. Drake is finished. 4 down, 1 final fight to go. Steven gave us trouble at the start of this run, but his team isn't one I fear. He has both of the Gen 8 cover legendaries, as well as his signature Mega Metagross. His most problematic Pokemon though is Mega Mewtwo, especially with Psychic Terrain blocking priority moves. None of that matters as I believe in this team. Let the final battle of the run begin. Lucky for us, Steven leads with Kartana, who has a glaring 4 times weakness to fire and literally 0 special defense. Fluttermane is able to outspeed it and immediately takes it out with Mystical Fire. Zacian comes out next and will absolutely kill Fluttermane. With the damage we do, plus Curse activating after, it should go down after a Protect. However, it goes for Leech Blade, giving it way too much health back. A simple Protect will no longer work. We're in danger. We can send out Jelly as Leech Blade no longer has PP and Fog helps out the team. Yet again, the double Protect fails and Jelly goes down. Aegislash lives all of its attacks, so a Swords Dance is free. Instead of Heatran, it's Mewtwo.
Oh, it's Mewtwo. Even worse. This is bad. It's gonna Flamethrower it probably. And it eliminated my Swords Dance. I didn't even have to Swords Dance. Oh, we're cooked.
Things are looking really bad here. Mewtwo basically destroys the rest of the team, and Psychic Terrain blocks our Shadow Sneak. Now, as it turns out, I kinda panicked for no reason. I switched to Dusclops to tank a hit and try and stall out the terrain. However, I may have confused the effects of Misty Terrain and Psychic Terrain, as I didn't think we could use Rest. We could have. So we end up going back and forth between Aegislash and Dusclops to try and avoid a Flamethrower taking out the sword. Mewtwo got fed up with this and just predicted the switch, taking out Aegislash before the terrain ended. Things looked bad before, but now it was somehow worse. Mega Gyarados clutches up big time for us though. Getting off a Protect, then a Dragon Dance, bringing it down to red. Taking it out with Pyro Ball gives us enough health back to be almost at full. Not being in Bullet Punch range gives us the edge over Mega Metagross. The comeback is happening. Heatran comes out next. After a Protect activates Funeral Pyre, were able to take it out using its own balloon.
The air balloon was supposed to keep you safe. The air balloon was supposed to keep him safe and it killed him. Oh my god, we're cooking.
His last Pokemon, Zamazenta, is extremely bulky, but can barely do any damage to us. Funeral Pyre eats away at its health, and after a few turns, Pyro Ball is enough to take it out. Steven is defeated, and we have become champions of Elite Redux. This team of ghosts was pretty incredible. Most of our losses came in the beginning of the game, but once the pieces came together, we breezed through. This was my first ever Fog team, and it was really fun, and I'm gonna miss these guys. If you made it this far and enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Currently I'm streaming the next Monotype run, being Ice, if you want to be a part of the journey. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.